Good afternoon. Today we're going to work on to standard form, taking standard form and slope-intercept form, and then we're going to also work on graphing linear equation, linear equation. So the first thing, let's talk about standard form. Standard form is ax plus or minus, and I put plus or minus because it could be plus or minus, by equals c. So it's ax plus or minus by equals c. And so the first thing we do is we're going to take and pick standard form and put in slope-intercept form. And how do we do this? We're going to solve for y. So let's go ahead and get into it. We have an example here, 2x plus y equals 3. So we're going to do this we're solving for y here. So let's go ahead and do this now. So the first thing is we want to isolate the y by getting rid of this 2x. So we're subtracting 2x from both sides. And what that leaves us is the 2x's cancel. That leaves us y equals negative 2x plus 3. Now that is in standard form, slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, where negative 2 is my m and 3 is my b. Let's do another example here. Let's look at number 2. So we want to do the same thing. We want to isolate the y. So we're solving for y. So the first thing I want to do is subtract 4x from both sides. What that does for me is that leaves me 5y equals negative 4x minus 30. Then we're going to divide both sides, or divide everything by 5. And what that gives us, the 5's cancel, that leaves us y equals, now I have negative 4 divided by 5, which is just negative 4/5 x. Negative 30 divided by 5 is minus 6. In this situation, negative 6 is my b. Negative 4/5 is my slope. Let's look at 4 here. So we're still doing the same thing. We want to isolate y. We're going to subtract x from both sides. What that leaves us is negative y equals negative x minus 8. Now, we can't have a negative y. So to get rid of negative y, we're going to divide everything by negative 1. Because negative times negative is a positive. Negative times negative is a positive, so that gives me positive y. Then I got negative x divided by negative 1, which is just positive x. Negative 8 divided by negative 1 is positive 8. So here we go. There's our equation, y equals x plus 8, where 8 is my intercept, and my slope is, even though it's nothing there, it's assumed to be 1 over 1. So if there's not a coefficient in front of x, it's 1 over 1. The next example, as far as converting, I want to do is 7 here. The reason I'm doing this one is because all the other examples we were subtracting first, but I want you to see that we don't always have to subtract first. Matter of fact, this is negative 6x, so we're going to add 6x to both sides. So what happens is the 6x is canceled. It leaves me 4y equals 6x plus 20. Then I'm going to divide everything by 4. Now, what that does for me is that leaves me y equals, well, I can reduce this by 2. So that leaves me 3/2 x. 20 divided by 4 is plus 5. And this is my equation where 5 is my y-intercept and 3/2 is my slope. Now what we're going to do is we're going to skip ahead a little bit here. So let's go ahead and graph. So remember, y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope, which is our rise over run, whether we go up or down, left or right, and b is my initial value or my starting point. So let's look at the first example here, where we have plus 5. That is my actual y-intercept, which is my starting point. So I'm going to go to my graph and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at 5 and put a point. Now I'm going to look at my slope, or the coefficient in front of x, where we don't really have anything here except a negative symbol. Well, if there's no coefficient, we just know that it's 1 over 1. In this case, because it's negative sign, it's negative 1 over 1, which lets me know that I'm going to go down 1 to the right 1. I can do it again, down 1 to the right 1. And what I'll do is I'll draw a line through my 3 points here. And that's the line there. Excuse me. Let's move on to 3, excuse me. I want to go 3. So now again, we're going to look here. My y-intercept is 2. So I'm going to go up 1, 2. Here we go, to positive 2. And my slope here is 2/5, which my rise is 2 and my run is 5. So I'm going to go up 1, 2 because I have a positive 2. And I'm going to go to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to put a point. Now, mind you, I can go up 2, but I can't go over 5 more. So if I want to add a third point, what I need to do is I need to take my 2/5 and make the numerator and the denominator negative. So what that means is if I got a negative 2, I go down 1, 2, but negative 5 means I go left 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and put that point there. So remember, negative divided by negative is a positive. So if I want to continue making this line and I can't go up and right, I can go down and left and I'll still get the same line. And there's our line right there. Let's look at another example of graphing here. Let's go to here. Let me erase this actually. So if I have negative 4x, well, notice that I don't have a y-intercept here. Well, that means that I have plus 0, which means my starting point is at the 0 or the origin at 0. My slope here is negative 4, but I want to make sure it's over 1. So that means I'm going down 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 1. And there it is. I can draw my line through my points. And there's my graph. Number 9 here, I want to use this one because take note that they move the M to the back and they put the B up front. But don't let this trick you. So here we go. My y-intercept is 1, not negative 1. The negative sign is behind it. For it to be negative 1, the negative sign or the minus sign need to be in front of it. So my starting point is actually 1. My slope in hand is negative 6/5, which means I need to go down 6 and to the right 5. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to go to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put my point here. Then I'm going to go ahead and graph it. And there we are. I'm going to go to the next page. I'm going to do, let's go 13. Now, in this case, it's not in slope-intercept form. So we just worked on going from standard form to slope-intercept form. So this equation is in standard form. Let's go ahead and put it in slope-intercept form. So the first thing I want to do is I want to subtract 4x from both sides. What that gives me is 3y equals negative 4x plus 21. Now I'm going to divide everything by 3. And what that leaves me is y equals negative 4/3 x plus 7. So I go to 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I put a point here. And my slope is going down 4 and to the right 3. So I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1, 1, 2, 3, and I put a point. Again, I can go down 1, 2, 3, 4, to the right 1, 2, 3. I have another point here. Then I can draw my line through my points. And there we go. Thank you for watching. Until next time.